Here we go. One day I'm gonna articulate my model way beautiful, and you guys will be able to see all of my dance moves in high definition. I'm gonna turn down just a little bit. There. So that's a little distracting. Okay. Well, happy Saturday. Hopefully, well, if I can get over my jitters. It's been a little while since I last streamed. I think maybe the Friday before. This has been a little while. I've been deep in the trenches of cosplay preparation, as some of you might have seen on my blue sky. We're in battle now. Yeah. Yeah, so I've been busy. Mostly just doing cosplay preparation. It's a big task, and you really got to be prepared, and I don't think I was prepared. Absolutely not. I think I thought I had an easy job this time around, because I chose a character that was very I won't say scantily clad, but a little less clothed than one might normally expect, and so I think I expected a lot less work to have to be put into it, which is fine. You know, you live and you learn. You live and learn. Who do we got in here? Is it just my my raptor roommate? Or we just got a shy lurker in here for right now? It's okay, we can just jam out to some tunes for a little bit while we wait for maybe one or two more folks to pop in. Keep the conversation rolling. I do like these JDSherbert tunes. Real nostalgic feeling. It's definitely a break from the soundtrack of the week for the past well, for the past week has been mostly Epic the Musical. And that would be because of our choice of cosplay for the weekend. I unfortunately did not make it through Con Crunch. I had to wave the white flag at some point uh, before Thursday was over, because I think I bit off a little more than I could chew, but thankfully at least one of our party of two was able to finish their cosplay, so one of us was very epic for our fan ex Fan Expo expedition. But no, yeah, my pal Az was Odysseus of the Greek Odyssey, of course, but specifically, you know, in reference to the epic musical. So that was a lot of fun to watch come together. I was planning to do Hermes, and well, we based the cosplays off of the designs. If you, obviously if you're into the musical, you've seen the animatics that are around, and the many different artists that contribute to those animatics, and we chose the GG animatics as our basis for the cosplay designs that we went into. So if you can imagine, actually, you know what? Why don't I see if I can... Well, I better have a window open. Let me see if I can bring it up, because that would help really get across what I was going for, or what I had in store for me when it comes to... So we were gonna base it off of... Hang on. I know how to do this. Well, thank you, Az. Dutiful as always. You hear the door slam. It's Azur. Okay, let's see. Image slideshow. I didn't know I could do that. That's beautiful. It's in front of everything. Go away. Technical difficulties. I just had something flying in front of my screen. Here we go. There we go. So yeah. This was the design that I was going to try and emulate. I'm hopefully gonna have it done for Halloween, because I know that Anime North likes to have a Halloween party. It's not as big as obviously the main convention is, but it'd be fun to debut it sometime soon. it'll be a little chilly, obviously, to be showing so much skin, but you know what? Um, I've worn hot cosplays in the summer, and you know, I haven't quite had the experience of wearing a cool cosplay in the winter. So, or I guess the fall. So we'll get to experience the full spectrum of temperature dynamics. um, but yeah, as you can imagine, I took a look at this and I was like, okay, I can maybe relax for a little while. Maybe not uh you know, not be so rigid with my plans leading into it, and I was a little too relaxed, I think. Um, I didn't anticipate there was going to be so much to do, and really, you know, taking a second look at it, it's like, yeah, of course there's a lot to do. Look at all this stuff. Um, I mean, if you look at, like, he's got all of these little gold pieces that, you know, they add up, quite a bit, and then, a lot of them are, you gotta kind of figure out, how it's gonna how it's gonna, you know, stay in place, um, how you're gonna get the effects that you want. I had a interesting time trying to figure out, how I wanted to, implement the cape elements, um, because they're very sparkly and shiny looking in Gigi's color, uh, illustrations, and uh, I I really wanted to do that justice, and I will. Just not for this weekend, obviously. Um, I did manage to finish. Well, I didn't finish it actually. There was a lot to consider with this. If you look at this neck piece, it was a lot of planning to do with the neck piece, because it's not really um, something that's normally, I guess, normally you would make it, obviously, about it's supposed to be a metal cowl of some kind, like, well, a gold cowl, because it's Hermes. But what I end up finding when I was sourcing my fabric and materials and stuff, and I really didn't want it. You have to make like a foam like armor piece, because I felt like that would be way too cumbersome and kind of awkward looking. But what I ended up finding was like this really cool, almost upholstery, grade fabric, and I struggle to think of what else it could possibly have been used for other than costuming. And well, when I think about it, um, and the store where I got it from, oh, I have to tell you guys, well, um, about the type of shops that I get to go into. um, Living in the big city, there's all sorts of little corners of the city that you can find some real cool stuff, and a lot of the events that uh, they these stores kind of live and breathe off of are a lot of pride celebrations, and um, things like festivals, like the Caravana Festival that we have here in Toronto is like really big. Um, and now that I think about it, that's probably what the purpose of this fabric that I found is. Like, it's meant to be for costumes. Um, because it really I struggle to think of what else it could possibly be used for. Um, but it was a really great uh stepping stone for like making progress with this cosplay, because I had no idea how I was gonna approach this stuff, eh? Um, but when I realized that I could use fabric to build it, I was like, oh, now I'm golden, because I love making patterns for structured garments and everything like that. And I've made armor pieces out of stiff fabric before that, you know, kind of simulate the look of armor without having to be, you know, a big cumbersome pieces. Um, and so while it was a lot of fun, it did take a lot of time and a lot of planning. And I ended up spending a lot of time just on the cowl and on the bottom here. These I love this design because they really are just like cuffs, like metal cuffs, but they are also bell bottoms. And um, I I had a lot of fun patterning out the these pieces in particular, and they turned out really good, actually. Um, I I'm really proud of how they came out. They're one of the only things that I've fully finished. Everything else kind of got maybe 80% done. Uh, but what I ended up doing was, because I thought, well, how am I going to keep them around my legs? Because it's a woven, like this stiff fabric is, well, first of all, it's stiff, and second of all, it's woven, and it's kind of difficult to keep structured woven garments, you know, in place on, especially on a part of the body that expands and contracts, you know, when you're walking around. So I was trying to figure out, and I realized that you see through the top there's kind of like a border, like I made it like a 1-inch border that kind of rolls around the top, and I thought, oh, what if inside I put an elastic strip and just had it free floating in the very front. And because of the very front, it kind of dips down like that, like a little V shape in the front. It was perfect for kind of catching the beginning and ending of the elastics. And so I just made it a little bit smaller than my calves, and sewed it in as I was sewing together the pieces, and I put them on, and they float on my legs. It's great. And then they sit right at the perfect the perfect level right above my tootsies, which is I'm really glad they turned out very I'm sorry. Yeah, but I was really jazzed when I finished those up. Unfortunately, the rest kind of fell through, especially towards the end of the week. What I did get mostly finished was this, I finished the cowl, mostly. There's like a design on it, like with the little circle and the wings that, I've got to applique on there. And then I've got to attach the cape to the cowl and to the cuff. But the cape itself, oh man, the cape. So I found this, it's rayon. I thought it was cotton at first, but it is like it's incredibly light material, and it's that very bright violet. And I thought, what if I actually dip dyed the other end of this to be that deep indigo? And I wasn't sure if it was really gonna work. But man, did it ever turn out good? I have not dyed anything in a very, very long time. I used when Rumble was in college, that was probably the last time that I ever dyed my own fabric. And I wasn't sure about using the bottles of the liquid dye that they have at they have many everywhere now, the RIT dye. I wasn't entirely positive that it was going to work all that well. I'd had mixed results with them before, and unfortunately the little hole-in-the-wall dye shop that I used to get my dyes from has either relocated or they got eaten up by the panini. So I wasn't able to get dye from the dye shop I normally get them from. So I guess I am having to put my faith in this in this home dyeing system. And the whole time it was nerve-wracking because there was such a small difference between the two shades, like the original shade and the new indigo shade, that I had no idea for pretty much for the whole process whether it was gonna turn out or not. And then the day that I did it, we went out for dinner, and I came home. Went to the washroom where I had it hanging up to dry, and I was so pleased with what I found because the color just very slowly transitioned into that beautiful indigo, and I'm so proud of how it came out. As for the sparkle effects, I had the hardest time deciding how I was going to do like that shimmery design and translate that into real life. And then I was in a Notion store getting feathers of all things, because obviously I needed lots of feathers. But when I was out getting feathers, I saw that they had these tiny little rhinestones, and I've never used rhinestones before. I've never bejeweled anything, but what I managed to finish looks great so far, so I'm positive that it'll look fantastic when it's finished. Oh gosh, the thing that got me in the end was I had forgotten completely about the helmet. I just, for some reason, it just left, it left my mind. I made all these plans and drafts and did all this calculating of how much fabric I would need and everything, and I didn't take into consideration the helmet, so I had to send Az to go back out and get more, and by the time I even got around to doing the patterns for it, it was like Thursday night. And I was done. I figured out how to make the helmet shape, and then I was like, I don't think I can do anymore. I'm spent. We made an agreement to wake up real early the next morning on Friday morning and see if we could get the last few things finished in the morning. And 7:30 in a.m. Az tries to wake me up. Guys, I didn't get up. I didn't wake up. I couldn't move. I had done too much crunch, and no, I had to throw in the towel then. Excuse you. Sorry, someone's yodeling behind me. That being said, there's a surprising amount of this stuff that I normally forget last minute that I managed to knock out really early. Like, for example, like the jewelry around the waist and the can't really see it in this illustration, but Gigi often illustrates him with a fancy little earring. And I managed to get all that stuff kind of taken care of really early on. So it's really just it's the major assembly that I ended up leaving last, which is you know, it's kind of important. And so I had to go cosplayless yesterday, which I was sad about for a number of reasons. One of which being that I probably would have been a lot more comfortable with you know, with my tummy out and my legs out and everything. I definitely would have I'm very sorry. Az just walked in and shoved a cake in my face. And it looks beautiful. I can't wait to dig into it. I love me a good... Is it a cheesecake? What kind of cake was it? Oh, I don't even care. It's cake. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so I didn't get to play along with the epic shenanigans that Az got to do yesterday, but I was at least present for it, which was the important part. You never want to go too hard into Crunch and then wind up, you know, making yourself sick or too tired to even go to the event. Because I've done that before, where I went a little too hard and my plans were to go in on Friday, and I had to skip a day or miss most of the event because I went a little too hard. So it's a good thing that I stopped when I did. But no, and at the end of the day, it's not all about cosplay, as much as the cosplay element is a lot of fun. There's still plenty of stuff to do, and well, I say plenty of... We didn't get to do all that much, because we only went the one day. But I think, it's still like a big kind of event that's worthwhile regardless. Mainly what we wanted to do, our main concern was we wanted to get in to see the artist alley vendors, because that's always a huge treat for us. But this year, and they did, they had a few of them last year as well. But this year they were able to bring back a bunch of the voice actors from Baldur's Gate 3. And we were really eager to see them, and so we knew that they were only going to be there, I think... I know that Neil Newbin was only there for Thursday and Friday. I'm not sure about the other actors that were there with them, because they had Astarion, Gale, Halsin, and Raphael all together, which was a real treat. We went to see them, and and I think this is true if you go back and watch any interview with any of the cast, is they've done so much voice work just for those characters that they can slip into those characters just immediately right off the bat. And apparently the event organizers were warned ahead of time, hey, you know, you're gonna have your planned question period and everything, but they will slip into character and just roleplay in front of you for an indeterminate amount of time, and you can't stop it. It definitely happened a few times. But the thing is, you really want to plan ahead for what you're gonna do and where you're gonna go in FanExpo Toronto. And I don't know if this is true for all FanExpo events, but at the very least it's true at FanExpo Toronto, and it's been true every time that I've been. You need to know where you're gonna be and when you need to be there, because just getting there is its own trial, I guess you could say. And they do their best to try and make it as streamlined as they can, but with so many people all being in one space, there's only so much they can do. and you really just have to come to terms with the fact that if you're in the dealer's room in the north building and you need to get to the south building for anything, that whatever you're going to be doing in the south building, it's gonna be a while before you get there. It's like traffic. And I mean, it is traffic. It's human traffic. uh, we did sort of plan for, because I just knew I did not want to be standing in line. At least not for just like registration, anything like that. And I thought, you know, you can always get in line early, and that way you get in earlier and you're doing stuff earlier. But I thought, you know, we should just go and wait until they've opened the doors already and they've already let everyone in that has been waiting in line. And well, at first we almost got into a line that we didn't need to be getting into, because there was a lineup for like a My Chemical Romance merchandise that was also like right next to the venue, that we just like kind of got into without even thinking. And then someone came up and asked us, hey, what is this line for? We didn't know the answer. And someone was like, oh, it's for My Chemical Romance merchandise. And we were like, oh shit, we don't need to be in here. So we got out of there, and then there was no lineup whatsoever for registration. We just went straight in, got our badges, which was very interesting because they were electronic badges that needed to be tapped on like a device in order for you to get in. But in order for that to work, you had to register your ticket like as you were waiting in line, and like normally there is a big lineup, so it makes sense to kill time and fill out your information or whatever while you're waiting in line. But because we didn't have a lineup, it was just kind of like a bunch of people having to stop and fiddle on their phones for a little bit, and then we ended up being in the way of other people who had already filled out their information, and then it was a little awkward, but it wasn't horrible. We weren't waiting or anything, so that was a relief. But immediately we got corralled into the top of the north building, which is where the dealer's hall is, and it's it is chaotic. And the thing is, if you want to go to the south building, and you don't know how to get to the south building, from from the outside, which again, if you leave, you have to tap your card again and then get tapped back in on the way back in. So you need to know where you're going, and if you don't, you just kind of need to follow the signage, and by following the signage, you're kind of getting corralled into all the same spaces that everyone else is. And again, I will say that it's not horrible. You're not just getting stuck in line for the escalator and just being there for hours, but you are in a line for the escalator. Which is kind of, you can't really do anything about it. The escalator only goes so fast. There's no access to the stairs, and there's only so much you can do. So it's not bad, but it's like you need to know that that's part of your journey from one building to the other. Feedback. I don't know what to do about that. It's just my voice. Don't understand. Oop. Properties. So you're saying there's, is it like fuzzy? My audio fuzzy? Oh, yuck. I know that I kind of worked it the other day. Hang on. Let me see if I unplug it and then plug it back in, if that will help. Hopefully it does. Jeez Louise. Alright, just a moment. Alright. I guess there's only really one way to test it, and that's just talk, so let me know if it still sounds weird. or it sounds normal now. Okay. All right. The universal fix for all technology. Unplug it and plug it back in. Okay. So what was I talking about? Actually, now that there's chat happening, let's there we go. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. Navigating FanExpo, which was interesting. I was so and this is funny because Az lives with me here in the city, but was not always living here in Canada. And when we get into the dealer's hall, and there's in the back of the dealer's hall, they have autograph signing area, and they had a great big sign that said, "You could meet Pokeroo." And I was so elated to see this, and unfortunately, it did not have any concrete times for when Pokeroo would be there, and so you kind of just, if Pokeroo was there, you could get a picture with Pokeroo, and if Pokeroo wasn't there, then too bad, so fucking sad, I guess. But I was just like, oh my god, Pokeroo is here somewhere, but we don't know where, which is really emblematic of her. But poor Az was completely lost. Like, what the hell is that? What is this horrible kangaroo creature I'm looking at on the sign? And I'm just like, that's my childhood you're talking about. That's Pokeroo. She's always missing. But I didn't get to meet Pokeroo. I was sad about that. But I had no idea that was a thing that you could just like meet. Like imagine that you went to FanExpo, like I don't know, somewhere in the US, and they were like, meet Barney today. Like, just imagine. Would you not be excited? So I was like, oh no. But it is what it is. I was only there for the day, so you snooze, you lose, or you only buy a ticket for one day and you lose. But it's whatever. Let's see. So how did my day go? Because we got dropped right into the dealer's hall, and we just decided to go straight through it because we knew we wanted to go to the Baldur's Gate panel, but that wasn't for a few hours, so we figured we might as well kill time in here. There was a lot of cool stuff there. There was like obviously you got like Funko Pops and more Funko Pops. And someone selling T-shirts and blind boxes. Well, mystery boxes, not blind boxes, but there were blind boxes to be sure. For sure there were people with selling Labubus and shit. But oh gosh, they had a booth with well, they had a bunch of like dice, like D&D sets of gaming dice, but they also had like drinking horns from like Chinese water buffalo horns that were all like burnished, embossed and stuff, and they had like leather books, like leather bound books made with like handmade parchment. uh they had there was someone selling and of course we spent quite a bit of time at this booth, as you can imagine, me being with Azuraptor at the time. There was someone selling actual fossils, so some of them were marine fossils, fish fossils, and like ammonite shells, but they also had like things like megalodon teeth and Spinosaurus teeth and stuff, like crazy stuff. um there was someone selling fudge, and they had like I never expected to see like someone selling fudge at like a fan convention. But they had like fudges that were like themed after different stuff. They had like an X-Men fudge, and like Star Wars fudge and like all that shit. And I'm like, oh my god. Oh gosh, there was like there was a taxidermy booth where someone was selling taxidermy stuff. Oh, I'm sorry, Az. Yeah, there was a lot to see and a lot to go through. And I'm sure that spanning it out over several days is probably for the best, but I imagine that if we were to plan to do something like that, um, we would probably have to uh, plan to do less over the course of the day. Get any bones? Hi, sugar. We didn't get any. Uh, well, it's we we got we got something for for someone as a gift that technically isn't a bone, but falls under that category. um, but we did see a lot of bones. Um, the taxidermist had a lot of cool bones, uh, like uh, like animal skulls and teeth and stuff. He was actually that guy was selling human teeth. Yeah, but I was like, where did you source? I didn't ask because I don't think I wanted to know. Um, he was also selling like taxidermied, like mad scientist creation type taxidermy. There was like was it a bird with a rabbit head, or was it a rabbit with a bird head? I can't remember. There was a two-headed duckling. Um, Trying to remember what else he had there that was very very interesting. Um, there was oh gosh, there was A phalange? A phalange? What part of the human body is the phalange? I didn't realize that that was a real thing. I guess I've heard it used in euphemisms before, but I've never. What is the phalange? Is it actually pronounced phalange, or is that just folks being silly? It's one of the bones that makes up the finger. Oh yeah, okay. One of like the thousands of bones in your hands. Something well, not it's not truly inconsequential, but you know, it's let's see. We didn't get to see all of the dealer's hall because we did have to start moving after a certain point. So that we could go to the theater and see the panel. It's definitely an experience of patience. It's a test of patience. It tests our patience a lot. we tested one another a little bit. We got a bit testy with one another. Just because there's just so many people. Museum of Osteology in Oklahoma. Cool. Yeah, that is one of the things that I don't like about it, is that it gets so crowded, and sometimes you wonder if you know, in the many years that they've been doing this event, like whether there is a better way of doing it and they just figured, well, we want more vendors to be stuck in the space, so who cares if there's a better way of doing this? Or what? Because sometimes there's like almost the level of like a human crush, but you know, it thankfully never crosses over into that territory, but it gets a little stressful. Let's see. Yeah, after that we went to the panel. Oh, so my favorite things from the panel were, and we got pretty decent seats actually, considering we didn't have to stand in line. We just kind of walked in, and we were able to get pretty close to the center. We didn't have to use the Jumbotron to be able to see them at least. The banter was really good. These guys have definitely been traveling with each other quite a bit, and they're very used to each other. It's just, you know, a new venue and talking to a new audience each time. I was very entertained by I think it was Neil, who he definitely knew that there is a right and a wrong way to say Toronto. Yes, they actually talked about their D&D experiences. Tom was the most animated about it. Actually, he was like, I somehow went my entire life not knowing about this type of game, and where has it been all my life? Which was, it was great hearing him talk about that, and you know, hearing them talk about their careers and stuff, and what it's like doing like motion capture and everything. But yeah, towards the beginning, Neil said hello to the folks at Toronto, but he said the way he said it was it was so English, it was so British. Toronto. He knew that not. He had the Scottish Sheriff of Nottingham. That was a great story. Also, Dave's story about his audition tapes. Now he had no idea what they wanted in terms of full body acting, and so he just went right. He was flying off the screen and stuff. But yeah, it was really funny. Just he clearly heard that there's only one T in Toronto when you say it, and did his best attempt, and that sent me over the edge. I lost it. Toronto. Hello, Toronto. It was really entertaining. Sorry. A for effort. Oh gosh. Even though I didn't manage to finish my cosplay, there was still like a lot of really cool stuff to be. It's such a delight just seeing what people come up with. I need to say it as southern as possible next time I visit. Okay, as long as you omit the second T, that you'll get a pass. But one of the first cosplayers we ran into, actually, as we were getting off of the train, was a Penelope cosplayer, and she had the bow from the competition and everything. See, that's got 2 T's in it. You're almost there. Toronto. But yeah, it was so funny, just because I was talking with Az, and we were wondering out loud, oh, how likely is it that we're gonna see other people cosplaying from Epic? And then there was a Penelope. The first person we saw was a Penelope. And so he walks up behind her like, Penelope. She turned around and was like, no way. I think the only other person that we managed to see was the other Odysseus. There's apparently another Hermes that was walking around, but we didn't see them. One of my favorite things that I saw was there was someone who was all all pasteled out, like almost like Lolita style, and they had a reverse bear trap. And it was also in all pastels, and there were little hearts on it and and everything, but it was absolutely a reverse bear trap. So that was stellar. I love that. I think we passed the Circe on the way to AA, but we were separated by crowds. Yeah. That's the thing, sometimes you find your fellow cosplayers, and you're separated by the swaths of human beings in between. Oh gosh, what else did I say? Oh, the Nazgul. There was a group of, there were 4 of them, 4 Nazgul, that were all decked out, and they were doing poses for everybody with their gigantic frickin' swords. There was a group of hobbits from, like, they were OC hobbits, like, not you know, named characters from Lord of the Rings or anything. They're I think it's called Tales from the Shire. And they all had their slippers with hairy feet. Let's see. There was a decent amount of cosplayers, like, in full body, like FNAF, which there was a Bonnie that had, like, a guitar and everything. Let's see. I'm trying to think of who else I noticed that really blew me away. It is hard though, because there are so many. I was bumped into. Somebody bumped into me. When we were walking through the artist alley, and was just in the most polite, like, quiet voice I've ever heard, was just like, "Oh, I am so sorry. I apologize." And I was like, "Oh, it's okay." And then I turn around and it's fucking Jimmy of Mouthwashing fame. And it was really good, but I was like taken aback. Sometimes it's the out of character moments that are the most memorable, really. Oh, I remember there was a family, like a mom, dad, and a little girl, that were all as a spy family, which is just incredible. But yeah, it's one of my favorite things to get to see. It's funny to see which cosplays seem to endure the longest. Like, you always see Team Fortress 2 characters walking around. I honestly don't think I saw a single Naruto cosplayer, but it could be that I just learned to tune them out. They just look like normal people to me. Because you just see them so often. Um. Uh. Oh gosh. Nothing really like huge. Oh yeah, there were quite a few K-pop demon hunters. And like not even just like the casual outfits, but like the full on like stage outfits that they wear in the movie with like um some of them had like the body makeup, if you know what I mean. Um like all up and down their arms and legs and everything, and it's just like, oh, how did you turn that out so quickly? um Probably by planning better than I did. There were a lot of the tiger in the artist alley. There was lots of tiger merch, which I was I was happy to see. Um, it was a very popular subject matter. Yeah, the devil works fast, cosplayers work faster. Now, I did see a handful of, well, not just cosplayers, but merchandise also. And though there were no trolls, the cosplayers I did see were mostly kids. I think I saw a Dave or two. There were... I don't know if I saw any Isak cosplayers. Speaking of the devil... No! Trolls aren't devils. Oh, you saw some trolls as? I saw a lot of I saw a lot of panty and stocking actually. Which I've been meaning to go back into the fray with that one. Oh, the Devil's Sacrament. I saw a couple of there was one booth in particular that they had a certain mobile game represented that I won't name, but it's one that used to not be offered on the iPhone store, and you had to download it from the internet if you wanted to play it. And that's what I'll say about that one. And I saw merch for it, and I was like, uh-oh. I'm sure more people know about it because now they do have an iOS version. They have a version that's clean enough for iOS. Oh, in the chat, yeah. Chatting right here and now. I think we're the only devil worshippers here. Gosh, speaking of Artist Alley, though, I don't know why I didn't expect to see so much Sonic Adventure, because obviously the third Sonic film came out and it was very heavily inspired by Sonic Adventure, but there was a lot of Sonic Adventure. and I was weak, and I wound up making a purchase that was very impulsive because it was kind of the most awesome thing I've ever seen. um, and actually, hang on. Hold on just a second. Let me see if I can bring it up. I kind of have to show this off because it's incredible. Here we go. Oh. Oh no. It's all blown up. Hang on. Here we go. Is it not the coolest thing you've ever seen? I've never seen anything this awesome before in my life. So, in case you wanted to know where most of Rumble's money went, it was here. It was in this work of art. I just know this merch is gonna decorate our bed during winter. Listen, all year, all year. This is gonna be year round. My my Sonic the Hedgehog phase never ended. Oh wow. This the artist that made this, I need to go find them and follow them because the vendor let me know that it was drawn by his nephew, and I was like, oh my god, does your nephew not know how freaking cool he is? Like, this is sick. um but yeah, we walked past this and it had like a ticket on it that said that this is the last one, and I'm like, well, I'm walking away with the last one then. That's just that's how it's gonna go. Um uh but so yeah, because they had like tons of different artwork too that were all they were selling, not just prints of, but like throw blankets of. Oh, the yes. Oh, the artist. So you found some really cool Land Before Time art. But that person had like a really cool concept where they were basically recreating classic like masterpiece artwork with, you know, various fandom type character combinations. Like there was they had one of Rose Universe, but it was the woman on the swing. There was oh yes. The unicorn painting where it's like in the middle of the the fence in like the meadow. They had done that with the last unicorn, and it was like very clearly the last unicorn. They had the kiss, but it was Howl and Sophie, and Howl had like the feathers draped over him and everything. Really, and like very well done. Like if you were 100 feet away and you didn't know and you weren't at a fan convention, you would just think that they were selling prints of like those masterpieces. But when you like they're very well rendered, and like they're not just, they're taking the concept and they're actually making like a very good take on on the concept too. Oh, there was another, there, not in the dealer's area, but there was someone in the what do you call it? Rumble just had a brain fart. I was literally just talking about Artist Alley, and I forgot the word for Artist Alley. But they had there's this one artist who's a local person. So I've seen them do shows all around Toronto. You should see if the Land Before Time art is based off of a painting, because a lot of them were, but I think some of them were original concepts. Either way, it's a beautiful painting that you got. But this other artist, I've seen them do other other smaller local shows, and I was so happy to see them because every time I've come across them, they run out of cards, and this time I got their card, and they are another like sort of like taxidermy adjacent, but they do a lot of like insect specimens and reptile specimens, but they do staged like dioramas of that like show that basically are just very artful arrangements using these like preserved insects and preserved some of them are skeletal remains, and some of them are taxidermied remains that are just some of the most beautiful arrangements I've ever seen. And you know, I've never had the cash to buy something outright from them at a convention or something, but eventually I just I need to look them up and get something, because they're just gorgeous arrangements. Oh yeah, they had a snake skeleton, and they had arranged several blueing butterflies around it. But they had, you know, all size of specimens, and in just like gorgeous setups. There was one in particular that was fabulous. With it was a juvenile crocodile skull that had been preserved with just like a flurry of different butterflies arranged surrounding it, all under like a glass globe, and it was just like some of the coolest stuff I've ever seen. Let's see. Oh, there was someone with they had made like they'd taken like several different like cryptids and mostly demonic entities and made like huggable little plushies out of them. There was like there was a couple of variations of a Bahamut plushes that they had conjured up. There was another local artist. They do some sets of the Mothman. Yeah, the Mothman. The little like tiny plushes of the Mothman were really cute. But as noticed that this one vendor had like the mouthwashing mouthwash, the mouthwash of mouthwashing, as like a candle scent, and it smells exactly like you would expect it to. But that being said, they sell a lot of stuff, and one of these days I'm gonna have enough to drop on one of their really like artisanal dice sets. Their dice are like a step above your typical like resin dice sets. They're just like every piece in the set is drop dead gorgeous kind of sets. So, but they are a bit pricey. So I stare longingly at them and then I have to move on. But she also makes jewelry, and I told myself that I wasn't gonna get any earrings. But then she had these they were gold daggers, and they had teardrop jewels that dangle below them, that are red, as you can imagine. And ooh, I couldn't resist. Could not resist. But yeah, there's always just, you know, it's just worth getting to see like what people bring to the table, because you know you get your standard convention fare, like there's always plenty of prints to be bought, plenty of stickers, plenty of keychains. But there's FanExpo is so big that you really get to see the cream of the crop. There's folks with some really spectacular stuff. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that really stood out to me as special. Obviously, I could only spend so much of my money, but you know, Um, just like a lot of unique artists too, um, because you know more and more these days there's people who find the confidence to show off, you know, not just fan art but their passion art. Um, but yeah, I'm glad we were able to get out there. Yeah, I'd enjoy that, sugar. I'd love to go with the to a con with you as well. Maybe, maybe, maybe not FanExpo. It's a little chaotic. Um, though that depends. You know, sometimes they've got a show that is irresistible, and you just can't turn it down. Turn down the opportunity. Like we couldn't turn down the opportunity to get to see the Baldur's Gate actors, so we ended up going. But the great thing about Toronto is that there's just a lot of stuff always happening all year long. I'll take a parasol and beat people back. Yeah, good luck with that. Some people don't even make it out with their full cosplay intact. Unfortunately. They have signs around the escalators that warn you to make sure that your tails and capes and wings are all tucked in. But yeah, I had a fun time. There was a couple things that I was hoping to do today. You know, a couple of meetups that were happening, you know. Not necessarily as a part of the convention, but you know, it was like the convention was an excuse for a bunch of people to meet up. Fortunately, and you know, I was a little too tuckered out. Hopefully, as the years go by and my I get back on into a healthier lifestyle, we can do more full weekends. I would love to get to go to Anime North for the full weekend, but we'll have to see. You know, there's always next year. There's always the next con. Okay. Well, I gotta use the litter box, but I figure that if I'm gonna get up anyways, this is a good opportunity to switch things over. So, I was gonna play some In Stars of Time because I haven't been able to play for a week, and I've been itching to play some more. I think so. What I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop the stream and then I'll start a new stream. That way the you know, the VODs can be separate and it'll be easier to upload to YouTube later. And then folks who are tuning in to the YouTube videos for the gameplay, they don't have to sit through an hour and a half of me Rumble rambling. But yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Is I'm gonna shut it down. I'm gonna go take a little break, and then in about let's aim for what time is it right now? It's 8:45. Okay. Why don't we aim for 9 o'clock at the latest. And that way I can, I can take a break. You all can take a break if you want. And then we'll come back and we'll play some video games. Well, long into the night. Okay. I will see you in just a short while.